Hi guys, I'm Datu Arif. I'm from Malaysia. Today is with us is Adiyu. He having the huge experience in a banking, especially in a SME area. 26 years he worked in a many banks in Malaysia, including HSBC and Standard Chartered Bank.
Thank you so much, Dato, for having me here today. Yeah, thank you for the introduction. Just to add to set the context right. So just to add on to my introduction, yeah, as Dato mentioned just now, I was in the banking industry for over 26 years before I left banking industry in 2015, yeah. So the last position was with Standard Chartered Bank. That's where I met Dato. And it was during my banking time where I met many SMEs and in Malaysia, yeah, and I started to have a special connection with them. That's why when after I left banking in 2015, I wrote two books. The first one was about SME challenges and a solution. This is the one. This is the book on SME challenges and solution, where I highlighted the primary challenges faced by most SMEs, particularly in Malaysia. But the challenges are almost universal in other part of the world. And the second book I wrote was about family businesses. As we all know, most of the SMEs are owned by family, yeah, and many of them are run by husband and wife. So that's why I think transforming family business is very important. Yeah. So in addition to my business, at this moment I'm running my own consulting firm, yeah, providing advisory services to be on financial and uh, so besides business, so I'm also actively in some of those activities, obviously involving banking. So I'm the chief examiner for Asian Chartered Institute of Banker in Malaysia, and I'm also the vice chair of SCAP Sustainable Business Network, where I was able to digital economy among countries. Yep. So academy-wise, I'm a mathematician, graduated with an MBA from University of Science, and currently I'm pursuing my PhD with University of Science Malaysia. And my research topic relate to sustainable business growth for SMEs. So you can see, obviously, my forte and interest is very much lies with SMEs. Yeah, yeah. Dato, talking about SMEs, I think at this juncture,
Now, coming to the Eddie, coming to the question, first question, how you see SME is very important for the overall country economy, and with very much reference to the Malaysia, how you see the SME in Malaysia is playing a very vital role in economy.
yeah, obviously SMEs is critical. I mean, based on a report from World Bank, yeah, 80% of businesses in the world comprise SMEs. And SMEs offer more than 50% of employment worldwide, yeah, and they're contributing up to about 40% of the emerging economy. I think that is, yeah. In Asia, the number is even more important, yeah. 96% of the businesses establishment in Asia are actually SME. Quite two-thirds of the employment in various sectors. And closer to home in Malaysia, so we have formal SMEs of about 1.15 million. Yeah, that is formal SME. And I believe there are another few hundred thousands of informal SMEs that are operating. And these numbers representing 98% of total establishment in Malaysia. So it's very for to make sure SME continue to so that they can contribute to the economy. So based on reports, yeah, so this SME contributing close to 38% in terms of GDP to Malaysian economy, and they're providing 48% in terms of export, close to, and Yeah. So in line with the importance of SMEs, so the Malaysian government actually came out with a national entrepreneur policy, 2030. So they drafted out the goal, the objective, yeah. What should the country achieve in terms of SME contribution? So by 2030, which is 7 years, so the country wish to achieve 50% GDP contribution from the SMEs alone. Employment, so the country hope to get at least 80% contribution in terms of employment for SMEs. And in terms of exports, the number will go from 12% today to about 30%. So you can see the significance and the importance of SME, from in the Malaysian context. All those SME, as we know, are small. Yeah. So these are ranging from 300,000 or even the micro SMEs. So they employ less than 5 people. So they are small individually, but collectively, yeah, as you can see from the numbers that I use now, collectively SMEs are very important. They play a very significant role in nation building. That's why we often hear that SMEs are actually backbone of nation economy. This is the reason. Individually, they are small, but collectively, they are very, very important. Yeah. Because of this importance, the government places a lot of emphasis for to look SMEs to the next level. That's why you can see during the pandemic, the government spent a lot of money to make sure SMEs you to the difficult period.
Yeah, Eddie, before we should move into the challenges to the SME, I want to understand first that how much the government in Malaysia is helping to the SME as compared to the other countries. You have a very global view, in fact. And second is that is the banks equally supporting like what government is looking forward, and there is a guideline available somewhere?
Okay, in terms of government, yeah, so as you can see, during the last 2 years, even before pandemic, I think the government has been very. If you study into the challenges, yeah, the primary challenges that I will highlight later on. So one of the key challenges faced by SMEs are accessing to funds. So most SMEs in Malaysia, in Thailand, in other part of the world, the critical challenge faced by most SMEs are accessing to funds. So I think our government hear this issue very clearly. That's why even before COVID, the government has allocated, yeah, huge sum of money. I think into the span of probably 50 billion dollars kind of US dollars kind of funding in terms of government guarantee for SMEs in financing, because you see the most difficult area for SMEs to secure financing from bank is the lack of security. Yeah? That's why the government, Malaysian government particularly, so came out with this government guarantee scheme about, I think it's close to 10 years ago. Yeah, and this thing really helped the SMEs to get financing from the bank. So in terms of comparison with other country, from my interaction with some of my counterparts from other countries, I would say Malaysian SMEs are very structured. I think we have a very proper what do you call organization. Yeah, we have SME Corp to get some of the information, most of the information about SMEs incentive, and also they come up with a lot of training program to make sure SMEs continue to progress. And we also have what you call it, uh, uh, how should I put it? So we have SME Co, and we have many other agencies like NEC, for example. So government actually set up a lot of targeted agency targeted for specific development. We have one kind of thing. So I would say Malaysia SMEs are very lucky in a sense where the government acknowledge the importance and come up with a lot of what they call incentive for these people.
So now you said that the government during the COVID helped really to the SME, and somewhere around between 30 billion to 50 billion ringgit has been given to these people through the banks. And it was a kind of government assurance or guarantee behind that. Same as there are a lot of institutions also, like I have seen SME Institute is also there. There is a SME bank separately. There is a lot of other products government came up with the kind of how much government has to take part and how much the bank is supposed to. So I can understand the government is very keen to help these people. But when we go and talk to the SMEs, there's another story comes into where they don't feel that they are getting the enough from the government and the institutions like bank and others. So what is the, like I'm turning the coin now and asking you to tell us what is the pain on the side of the SMEs, and tell us about that.
Yeah, that's what this is quite common, yeah, because every time I go to provinces, when I bump into SMEs, they always complain, yeah, they always complain that banks don't do enough. I mean, to a certain extent, it's correct. Why? Because this SME who complain couldn't get financing from. But there are reasons to that, yeah. So I refer to not to say 100% agree to these people. There are reasons behind these reasons, yeah. Okay, number one, SMEs need to do their part when they talk. Why are these SMEs couldn't get financing from the banks? There are reasons. Because the bank only come in to ease on the security part. Because one of the main reasons that the bank SMEs couldn't get financing is the lack of security. The government take parts of the government to ease to help the SMEs to handle the security part. Are other areas where the banks will also security. This come to the main point why some SMEs still didn't get financing from. Yeah, so they need to be more prepared, and they need to make sure the documents are in proper order before they submit the application. And of course, it's unfair to put all the blames to the SMEs. Yeah, and I think you have also highlighted, are the banks doing enough? The SME. I think they have done a lot. Yes, I agree, because I was on the other side, was in the banking side. So the banks has actually done a lot to try to understand, to see how the banks can help. But they are areas where the bank can do more so that they can reach to the wider scope. SMEs, they are new in the business, that are less lucrative in their performance. I think this is the area where SME need to, I mean, the banks need to place a focus, yeah, because it's to finance SMEs that are performing is no brainer, right? Because the government is guaranteed the loan 20%. So why? The challenge is for the bank is to finance those marginal SMEs. Yeah, SMEs, they are doing okay, but they are not registering very high profit, and they are merely marginal. But what they need a bit more financing to push through the difficult period, so that they can perform to deliver better results. So in this instance, yeah, banks need to be more open and to realign their risk assessment, yeah, to see how they can actually on a higher global. I mean, anyway, the government is guaranteed the exposure up to 80%. So yeah.
So Eddie, tell me about, I can understand as a banker, there is interest as compared to the large local corporates and the foreign corporates. SME is always less. And there are various reasons of it. First is basically that cost of doing this business is high. because and revenue is less because you are doing in a very short or small loans basically, and when you are doing in a numbers, the cost of doing business gets high as compared to when they are going to the corporate. Instead of doing to the 100 SME, a one deal or a one customer is sufficient for the revenue. So I can fully understand the banks everywhere, not only in Malaysia. Most of the places are basically not upfront very looking forward to help. But I have seen in Malaysia that some of the banks are really helping. Some of the banks really focus on a SME that they should grow. But tell me about the challenges like these SMEs are facing about operation, especially which is your area, that they are also not cash rich and can be able to invest a lot of money in making the operation right or doing some digitization.
Okay, coming back to your questions on the banks, or why banks are preferred in, I mean, I think that's very obvious, yeah, because I mean, facilities is different and amount of work is. But the banks need to bear in mind, the banks must also diversify their credit risk. Yeah, they can't put all the eggs to one, because it's good to finance to a big corporate, but if thing happen to them, they may have. So the other aspect of why financing SME is bank is margin in that the bank. Yeah, if you deal with a corporate, you can only charge very minimal 0.25. In SME, you can charge higher, even up to that kind of interest. And the SME don't complain. It's not to say they do not, and they know, but because of the quantum involved is normally lower, so the impact to the cash flow is the bank is yeah, I mean, compared to a margin of 2% to SMEs and 0.2% to the cost is different. Yeah, that's why the bank is. And back to your questions about operational issues for SMEs. Yeah, so SMEs face some yeah. So in my book, I wrote about highlighted about 4 key challenges face. Yeah, one I mentioned just now is assessing. So the second one is about market. SMEs always feel that they don't have enough market to tackle. For example, SMEs in Malaysia, they always complain, oh, Malaysia, we only have 32 million population, market is very small. Indonesia, 250 million. We just need to cross the border. We can capture. But the problem is this: do they have the capability? Do they have the capability to, right? So for SMEs that are large enough, yes, it makes sense for them to explore into. But for most SME that are operating, I mean, in the moderate scale, I think it's better for them to focus, look before they even talk about it. I mean, Malaysia 32 million is small, but if there's enough market, is to what do you call ambitious is good, but realistic, yeah, about that. Also, the areas that I highlighted in my book about the common challenge SMEs is people issues. So given a choice, not many people want to work SMEs as compared to large corporation and multinational, right? Obviously, because multinationals, companies, large corporation, hence they can give back and pay more, right? Why should any person who can work SME? So SMEs face critical challenge, yeah, in attracting talents to their company, and what's even more challenging is to retain their trained right? Some people, some of the staff, they work for SME, they get a lot of experience while they work in nation. So this is the challenge that SME. And the other one is talking about operational. So I think this is when we talk to SMEs, they still very prefer to go on manual work. When we say, why do not you invest into technology? So very common SME will tell you, why should I waste? They say, they don't even say invest in technology. To them, it's so why should they spend money in things that can be done by people? So that's that kind of mentality. If you don't progress in terms of technological innovation, how can your company progress? This is the reason you see so many SMEs stagnant in the same position, yeah, same level for many, like 20 years. We have a lot of SMEs in Malaysia operating for 10 years, yeah, but the revenue would never grow for the past 10 years. Why? They can't because they don't invest into technology. So this is the problem faced by some of the SMEs, yeah.
Okay. So, you wrote two books, and both are very much like for a SME. One is, of course, very particular to the SME area, and one is for family business, which is also very appropriate because a lot of businesses in Malaysia is a family businesses as well. Now, I'm coming towards the end to as an expert and so much of experience you have in SME. What solutions you can propose for SME businesses?
Okay, let me address this in sequence according to that I had assessing to finance, yeah. SMEs to raise the chances of getting finance from. So number one, they need to understand what exactly the banks want to see when they submit that. Yeah, just like in examination, if you do not know what the examiners want, you can never score in your exam. So they have to find ways, right? Talk to the bank to understand exactly what do banks look at when they assess the loan application. This is number one. Number two, when they submit the application to the bank, make sure it's proper. You must have proper and complete documents. What are the basic documents that you obviously some of the statutory to proof of your company, that your company is properly registered with the government. Number two is the financial information. Yeah? And some SMEs, they don't even audit accounts for many years. Yeah, so this is not acceptable. So all financial information must be. The third important point when they deal with banks is they must be very convincing. Yeah. So when they tell the story about their business, they must be very convincing, right? So they must be very confident. They must be very clear about the business doing. And without this, banks will not have confidence and they just put your hand aside. Right? Don't forget, bankers receive many applications at so probably maybe they have 10 application on their desk. You are not convincing enough, they will leave it. So your chances of getting approved will be less. Right? So that's about assessing to. Yeah. The second one is about market expansion. I highlighted just now. Make sure you flood the market, what the Malaysian market before you want to end your. Because if you think doing business is Malaysia in the domestic market is the task is 10 times more challenging when you go overseas. But if you choose to go to overseas, make sure you do enough homework. You should a lot of homework before you do a new market. Do a lot of research. I think one of the best approach because my background being a talk to your banker, get your banker to connect bankers in your new market. For example, if you are a customer of Standard Chartered Bank and you plan to flow Indonesian market, get your RM in Malaysia, Standard Chartered Malaysia, to connect you to talk to another RM in Standard Chartered Bank Indonesia. And the bankers in Indonesia will be able to give you information which you may not get it internet, because these are people on the ground. So do a lot of homework before you go to overseas. Understand the tax and regulations of, understand the product preference. Because products that are selling well in Malaysia are not necessarily in overseas. Different country, different culture, different preference, even color, right? Things people like white, they're not necessarily they would like in other countries. These are the things that SMEs need to before they think about. So come to the third point is about people. And SMEs, I highlighted when a choice want to join be better. SMEs must understand why people choose to join them. Why people, what are the who and that cause people to them or join them. So they must also review the performance system, because without proper reward, nobody we are human and we before. Right? People will stay on because of two, three main reasons. Number one is the compensation must be there. They must be happy with the compensation, and important, they must feel that they are being paid according to their capabilities, their experience. They think they work 5,000 and they only get 4,000. It's a matter of time. They will go. Yeah. So compensation is very important. And the second point is career development. So again, this is one problem faced by many SMEs. Many, because many SMEs are so reluctant to send their staff for training. Even though the government come up with a lot of schemes under the HRDF, human resource. A lot of trainings are being because in for it. So, but again, the SME is still very reluctant for training. Why? Because SME feel that, oh, why should I send the staff away? Because if the staff is away, who is going to do the work? So this is good enough. Because when people don't learn, people don't progress, they will not be happy. And if they don't learn new things, then it will not be beneficial for the companies. So it's very important. As always say, people is the greatest asset of the company. So if you don't have people, the company will people. Yeah. And the last points I want to emphasize is technology. Technology, Dato, I mean, is very close to your heart. Yeah. Technology is the future. If not, it will change. Like today, people say about tech. People say, hey, it's a good thing, if the technology is so smart, now one day it would be. Why should you want to worry about this thing? Like, yes, maybe, I do not know, maybe it will be smarter, but then maybe 100 years later, right? so not within our lifetime. Why bother so much about it, right? So number one about the technological challenge. SMEs owner themselves, they need to change their mindset. So technology is not an expense, investment. It is an investment to both the company forward. Because only through technology that they can improve their productivity, they can improve their operational efficiency, and more importantly, through technology, some of the difficult tasks that can't be done today will be able to perform by the time. So very important. These are the four important areas that SMEs must want to bring.
So thank you very much, Eddie. You have very clearly explained all the areas, like what are the current status of the SME, on other side, what are the challenges, and in fact also suggested them that some of your experiences that to help. So thank you very much.